guys, how's it going? Welcome to another episode of the Dragon Yawn. I'm your host, Seafood Mike, and we're coming to you from Tactical Kung Fu and Mixed Martial Arts, located in Durham, North Carolina. And we're here with two very special guests, okay? He teaches here, wrong way, he teaches here, and that is his instructor. So, by the end of this episode, you will know all about him and him. More about him, because we like him. You're okay. Alright?
What can you do?
Exactly. Alright, so first things first, introductions. I'm going to start with you, sir. Tell us who you are.
Webster Griffith. I'm from West Virginia, Parkersburg. I'm 49 years old. I've been in the martial arts since I was 11. Started with Shido-Ryu in Centralia, Illinois, with Felipe Villarreal. He had the Jiu-Jitsu and Shido-Ryu. They called it the Jiu-Jitsu Shido-Ryu, or Jiu-Jitsu Karate Union. And at the time, I got it to brown belt. I could not get black belt until I turned 18. It was a little disappointing when I saw Ernie Reyes Jr. get at 5 years of age his black belt, and I'd bring it up and they said, "No, you can't do it."
Wait, he was 5, but you had to wait till you were 18?
It's Ernie Reyes Jr., man.
Ernie Reyes. I mean, it's what it, but the style I was in, it was very limited as far as that was concerned. Many of the ones who I taught wound up getting their black belt because of their age when I was teaching them, and I had to remain where I was, and it wasn't it was an age thing. I just couldn't do it. So
right.
I was with also a jiu-jitsu stylist, Michael Willis, where I got my black belt in jiu-jitsu, and I was allowed to do that at 16 versus going on until way later. Then my parents moved to Marietta, Ohio, and where I studied with Roger Hurd. He was light heavyweight champion in the United States.
Oh, cool.
Fought Don Wilson, fought Dennis Alexio, fought everybody who was anybody in the 80s.
Now,
Genius Thoreau.
that was in kickboxing and...
Kickbox, back in the WKA days, World Karate Association.
Okay. Professional full contact karate.
ESPN's early version of UFC.
Right.
And he was world champion at the time. Made it into the Kung Fu Illustrated, Karate Illustrated, all that. And that was a champion we had there in Marietta, Ohio. And I taught for him from the age of 16 to 19. I went in the service. I got my black belt through Roger. Went in the service, and it's one of those. Usually, when someone takes a martial art, it's whatever the local McDonald's martial arts studio you have next to you. So
wait, you saying McDojo, or like just like be near a McDonald's?
We were gonna just stop short, right?
Just stop short. But I hate to think of them like that, but you have a lot of them that were print and press, the same style.
You've been here for X amount of time. Here's a belt, kind of thing.
And you get a dojo that'll pop up, die off, pop up, die off. They all come and go. And of course, someone will challenge somebody. I remember the early days. That was always fun.
Now, you keep saying you obviously have been doing martial arts for a very long time. What is your current rank now? We call you Hanshi, right?
8th Dan.
8th Dan. And that's in Kempo, correct?
Kempo.
Yes.
Kempo Jitsu.
Yeah, Kempo Jitsu.
Which we have Jiu-Jitsu in our style versus it being straight Kempo. When someone says Kempo, they think
Ed Parker's,
and they think it's a lot of just arms.
Right.
And it's not that way.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of hard and soft style. We do have a lot of groundwork that we do with ours. So.
Cool. Yeah, I think... I'm sorry.
I was going to say, in our groundwork, where it varies, like from the Brazilian style, which is, they certainly are aware of self-defense, but the Brazilians go to more of a sport place. Our grappling tends to be aware of striking, and it's more self-defense oriented.
Yeah, because some of those things you can do are really hard to do when
if
someone's
someone's punching
yeah,
you, or elbowing you, or kneeing you in your coccyx.
Yeah, exactly. But so I think that's what a lot of people don't realize is that you're actually a grappling art. You're a legit grappling art, and that's like whenever I think of Kempo, I come from the Kaji Kempo. We have the Kempo from Imperato. He brought that in, and so that was my understanding. So Kempo as a grappling art never actually occurred to me until I met this guy.
If you look at our line goes back to Choki Motobu through two lines. We go back through Ed Hutchison through J.T. Will School in Columbus. We also go back through Felipe Valerio in Shitaru. And the first book ever published on Kempo anywhere in the world was published by Choki Motobu. And in that book, the word grapple occurs 67 times. I have a copy of it if you'd like to borrow it. Yeah.
Cool. That means I got to read.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Oh, and actually, there's for Nidon, there is reading.
And for your 5th degree, you'll need a paper.
Okay,
Yeah.
so read the paper first, write the paper later. But that's why I'm making YouTube videos, man. Nobody reads anymore.
Good point.
I'm making fun of you guys. It's okay to be illiterate. We understand. Anyways, you were talking about your military service. You've been to a lot of different places. What you were telling me you studied under a lot of different people. So let's go back to that.
88, I joined the Navy. I enlisted, went to Great Lakes Naval Training Center. There for a year, I was on base. There was a maybe it was Shotokan, I'm not sure. There was a one on base. I went there just to practice, which kind of looked awkward. You had a lot of like Korean, Chinese that were Americans that were really great at their style, and it was like, wait a minute, there's a white dude that's doing pretty good here. Which is kind of funny. When I went to Centralia, I was a minority again because it was more like I was like that grain of salt in the pepper jar. So I went to Centralia, and the classes were mostly Puerto Rican, Hispanic, African American, and I was a minority. So and then but it's okay. It's all all Americans, and I've had more brotherhood and felt more at home in a dojo than just about anywhere else.
In Puerto Rico.
Oh, Puerto Rico was wonderful. But I went from there. I got to spend more than my share of time. I was on the Harry W. Hill, which is a ship that we rammed into another ship, so we got stuck in the Philippines for quite a while. And
they're worse places to be stuck.
Oh, no, I love the Philippines. I love their cuisine. Their people are some of the nicest people in the world. And I got to go with stick fighting with Doce Perez. They have some great studios there. But amazingly, they love American boxing and basketball just about more than anything
Really?
else.
I would not have guessed basketball.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Basketball's pretty big in Asia, though. I guess that makes sense.
Oh, yeah, it's huge. And boxing, after the throw in Manila, Sweet Science is a huge deal over there, more so than many of their other sports.
Well, they have Panatukan, and that's Filipino boxing. So did that come before or after their interest in boxing?
Panatukan was probably before. I mean, the name. There's Panatukan, Pananjakman being the wrestling type.
Right.
And they had that too, but the love for boxing, American style or international style, is they have their own national boxing, Panatukan, but what theirs is a type of dirty boxing too. They like to punch the bicep.
Oh yeah,
punch the elbows, and it's like, is it legal? Yeah, it does. It's more like a Lee's progressive indirect attack.
Right.
You're not punching the center line. You're nailing everything on the way to the center line and mobilizing it while you go. So
I feel like that's actually a tactic that they have incorporated as the years progress. Like I've seen American boxers do that, where it's like, hey, that one's here. Oh, I'm just gonna hit that.
Right? You get that, and then you see. I went down to Mexico, and I didn't compete in Mexico in any of the, but I watched the boxing there, and you'd see Mexican boxers that would come up with these great records, and they concentrated daily on the uppercuts and the inside. Is it dirty? No. Hey, it works, and for their size that they had, pound for pound, not you just can't beat them as far as boxing. I mean, it was good luck getting in on the inside with them. If they did peekaboo boxing, good luck. Peekaboo, you got a shorter guy, peekaboo, and they come in. You take a lot of headshots.
Yeah.
You go to the corner. They're nailing it. They're wailing on you, but they pop out, and then a lot of uppercutting, and that's peekaboo boxing. And it came from a comic where they had it too.
Wait, it came from a comic?
Yeah, there was a comic version of peekaboo boxing. It was a comic character.
It's like from the 50s?
Yeah, I believe so. But they mentioned that.
You were so in the right place, man. Martial arts and comics.
That's all we talk about.
It was like
we spend
my first Dragon on it. So like
we spend long periods of time pontificating on the correlation between the cinematic arcs and the actual arcs in the books.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. But it's just that's really the nature of this podcast: martial arts, film, comic books, because we're geeks when it comes right down to it.
We gotta tell them the story how we met.
Yeah, I say, we covered your military career. I mean, we got to the Philippines. You were telling me, I think you went to. Did you go to China? Or
no, I didn't get to go to China. We were going to. I was in Desert Storm.
That's right. I got that way wrong.
Other part of the world.
Yeah.
But we were going to go to Hong Kong, and I didn't get to make it. There's a lot of them I didn't get to go to. After we hit another ship, it ripped a sonar dome, and we were stuck in the Philippines for a while.
Oh, so
9 glorious months, and then we had to go back again, but it was beautiful.
Okay.
Love the food, deniguan, had to be home, all that good stuff. Ubi cake, I could eat that. Anyway, so I went there, learned a lot. There were a few other countries that were. We got to see Thailand, Phuket. I didn't do any of the Thai boxing there. I was barely there long enough. But some things like Cuba. When you hit the Caribbean countries, you likely might get a day or two there. They do have their own native karate studios there in the Caribbean, and anyone who would denigrate them as not being authentic, and that bothers me because I've seen some of those Caribbean karate studios that were incredible, absolutely incredible.
Can you break for a second? I think just needs to.
Yes.
Like pause it.
Yeah, totally. So all we do, okay, is I'm gonna cut. So we need to be. We need to stay right here. All right, now we're back. Where were we at?
You were asking
Yes.
where I met Jeremy?
Yes.
Can I tell from my side first?
Actually, well, first, let folks know who you are. I mean, your bio is on the website,
That's right.
tkfmma.com.
Check out the website for sure.
But he's going to be telling you all about him.
I'm Kyoshi Sensei Jermey Reisenberg, Rokudan under Hanshi, Webster, Griffith. I wanted to tell the story of how we met because it's a crazy, typical martial art. If you ever train in a martial arts studio, it's going to ring true with you. I also started training when I was pretty young. Wrestled in high school. In 6th grade, we had the gym teacher had like an after-school judo program. I got involved with that. And when I graduated from college, I started training at this dojo called Tsunami Dojo, which was old school Okinawan martial arts. They had Shorin-ryu karate, Tenchi-ryu kobudo, and Hakaru jiu-jitsu. And I said, cool. I signed up for all of it, and I've been training there about 2.5 years. And my wife Jessica trained with me. She was also into sports. She did soccer and road crew. If you come down here and train with us, she's always around and usually saying something funny, disrupting me for sure. But we were training, and Brian used to do this thing where Jess is definitely pretty athletic, and when new guys would come in school, he would make them spar her first.
I do that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very humbling.
Yeah.
Especially if they have egos, that's great.
Yep. She felt like it wasn't fair though because she'd been training for 2.5 years, and she's like, I should beat them. I've been training for 2.5 years. So she got frustrated with it, and I worked with a lady named Wendy, and her husband Vinny trained at the karate school down the road Scott Sargent's combat karate. And Scott was a student of Roger Hurd's at the same time Webb was. And so Vinny said, hey, I trained Kung Fu with this guy Joe Bigley, a student of Webb's. Why don't you come do the Kung Fu class with me? And Vinny was like a purple sash at the time, so he'd been training for a while. And Vinny worked as a bouncer, so he knew the value of trapping and those types of skills. And so Jess started going there, and she loved it. And one day we're in the Hakaru Jiu-Jitsu class. We're in Seisha, and Brian's like, Jeremy, I haven't seen Jess for a while. Where is she? Now, my buddy Larry McGinnis and my buddy Justin Hupp, they both knew where Jess was because we were friends outside the school. And everybody got real quiet. And I didn't want to say because I knew it was going to happen. And Brian said, Jeremy, where's Jess? And I said, she's training at Sargent's. What? He bows the class out. And at that time, Tsunami Dojo was on the corner, and Scott's was basically at the end of the street, kind of coming up around the other one. So it's like a block. He bows the class out. The whole class, we walk single file all the way down to Scott Sargent's. And when you come into Scott Sargent's place, there's like a desk and like a little reception area. And then you go through there, and there's like a weight room. And then I think there's a door back to where there's showers. There's a door back to showers. And then there was a big main matted area where people would do weapons or sparring or whatever.
You interrupted really quick. You were very excited, I can tell, because you're louder than the two of us combined. I'm watching
sorry.
the little lights flick up.
I'm trying to be entertaining.
You are very entertaining. I think it's hilarious, but I'm sit there going, man, how am I going to edit this? He's so much louder than we are.
I'll try to dial it down.
Yeah, you're just excited.
I'm
It's
in the
fine.
moment, bro.
You're
I'm
in the
in the
moment.
moment.
I mean,
I can't wait to hear it from your side.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But continue, please.
Yeah, so we go down there, and the whole way I'm like, oh my god. So we go in there, and Scott's sitting at the front, and Brian just walks right past Scott, and Scott's like, what the? Like, you know what I mean? He gets up, and Brian blasts right through the weight area and walks right in on Joe's class. And a credit to Joe. Joe handled it probably better than I would, because like I'm older and wiser now, but Joe was like 23 maybe at this time. When I was 23, I wouldn't have handled that very well, I'm afraid. Brian just interrupts the class, and there's Jess standing right next to Vinny, and there are 5 or 6 students practicing a form, just doing kung fu forms. And he walks right up to Jess and is in her grill about, why are you down here? What is going on? And she said, I was just tired of training with you. I didn't, I'm training here now. You need to leave me alone. And he won't give it up. And Joe's like Joe knows who Brian was, because karate schools down the street from each other, everybody, right? And then Scott comes in, and Scott's like, what's going on? And so Jess goes outside, Brian follows her, we all go out there, Scott goes out there. Jess is like getting all upset, and she's like, I'm not gonna do this, I'm done with you, and she gets in the car and leaves. And Brian is just going off, and Scott is outside now, and there's the no parking for 2 hours, right? 2-hour parking sign. Scott lights a cigarette, and he's smoking the cigarette. Brian's going off about how Scott's stealing his students, and and it was Brian's bad behavior is why she went to that other school.
Right.
It had nothing to do with Scott. Scott knew who she was until she started going there. And he's just smoking the cigarette, letting him run his mouth. Finish the cigarette. Well, you probably shouldn't do that again. And then just goes back into the building. And then Micah, Webb's brother, comes up to me and says, Jeremy, if you don't want to train with that, I'm not going to say the word Micah used, that guy, you should train with my brother. And that was how I found out about Webb. And Micah put us together in a front yard, right? Mm-hmm. And Webb taught me about trapping, which in the Okinawa martial arts I'd studied about. I was hopeless because it was such a new concept to me. And that's how it all began. That was had to be 1993. 25 years ago. Yeah.
At the time, I was working as a deckhand on the river, and I had a life jacket, the orange thick life jackets.
Right.
And he came over and he said, my brother said, show him a
1-inch punch.
1-inch punch. So I showed him with Mike, and I put a life jacket on him backwards. So he had this big pad here, and I put a book in front of it. And my brother weighed 350, being maybe 325, and I tossed him. And Jeremy's like, "All right, okay, whatever."
Never seen anything like it.
He says, "I fake."
I was skeptical.
Fake.
I was skeptical.
So I said, "Well, it's not like I've ran out of ammo here. I mean, if you want to try." So Jeremy puts on the life jacket backwards. Puts this, I think it was a big phone book.
That was a Webster's dictionary.
It was a
thick book.
I stuck it in front
That's
of
kind of
it.
funny. Webster has Webster.
The Webster's dictionary. I didn't think about that. That's awesome.
I asked him
Puns.
to stand not shoulder width apart to brace himself. And he was, I had this 1980, it was a 90 Cadillac.
Cimarron. Yeah, Cadillac Cimarron.
This
It was 85.
Cimarron. And we were on like this side of it, side to side, not lengthwise. I was on the driver's side of the car, and we were on this, we were on the side of the trunk, and I thought, he would hit the car, and that's as far as he went. And so I snapped it with, I thought, this little smart ass. I sailed him. He went over the car.
I did.
Ass over Tico, or butt over.
It's too late now.
Yeah, it's too late now. He'll clean it up later.
Maybe.
His feet
I might
were
just
like
keep
this
that.
as he went flying over with his feet in the air. And
And
I wanted to send him
I said, can you
hard.
teach me how to do that?
And he got up. He was like, like this. He goes, "You got to show me how to do that." And I was like, "Well, there's a whole lot more. There's grappling, right?" And the reality is, he is. I can honestly say this about Sensei Jermey. I'm looking at everybody when I says he's a better jujitsuan than I am. He's more dedicated to it. I'm telling you, when I'm on my back and it's going on a long time, he gets off on it. Me, it just, he literally, you can see it in his eyes when he's down there. He's on his back, doesn't matter, mount. He could be in the mount, he could be in the guard. There's a look on his face. It's going into violent now.
Right.
And I love that portion, don't get me wrong, but I was always a better kicker, puncher, and usually I didn't have to take it to that far. And then weapons or what have you, trapping, we had our own trapping, we had our own kicking, punching. I mean, when people say jujitsuans do punch, they do kick, and they're quite well at it. They just don't generally focus on that part. Karate does have throws. Everybody who's taken a karate class knows Osotogari. That's a class you're
Whatever they call it in the karate.
or whatever they call it. Well,
Same idea.
style.
That's the
Big,
biggest problem I run into as a mixed martial artist. Is like
What do you name
you
it?
have like 3 names for the same thing.
Well,
You got to figure out what those things are.
basic judo, big outside reach. Almost every style has it. They just have a different name. Kyogi, side thrust kick. What do you call it in another style?
Megiri, front kick,
Yeah.
push
So-
kick, teep.
Yeah.
It's all Megiri.
They're all the same. It's just, and it's what they focus on. And we try and focus on about 50-50 stand-up versus floor game. And our jiu-jitsu has a lot of standing jiu-jitsu type. Brazilian jiu-jitsu, it's almost like the game starts once it hits the ground. And that's where Jeremy loves to take it. We'll go straight to the ground. And I said, there's other types of jiu-jitsu, Jeremy. There's a sitting, there's a standing. And that was something he wasn't, exactly, it didn't ring a bell with him at first. So the trapping and the standing, grappling, was a new thing I got to show him. And, of course, 1-inch punch. It's more like when I do it, it's more of a show of force. It's like breaking boards.
Right.
It's really nothing impressive once you learn mechanics.
What I really like, picking up on everything you said, that you initially mentioned that he is better at the ground aspect than you are, and I think that is the hallmark of any really good instructor, is to try and make your student the best person they can possibly be, and if they're better than you are at something, awesome. That's their thing. I'm not trying to make them better at finding something that applies to them, and that's one of the things. That's one of the reasons why there's so many martial arts here that I teach, because I want to be able to find something that best fits the person, and I love that you already do that and have done that with him, and that's what you do as well.
And if you're very secure with yourself, you can admit it when that day comes.
Yeah,
he's given me a ton of credit, and I appreciate it, but the last time we grappled together, he arm-barred me, so don't let him sandbag on you.
But I do
you
recall,
have 2 arms, you got a spear.
I do recall he had my
It was nice.
leg in a lock, and I was over an hour. I just wouldn't tap. I was like,
We were stubborn. We were stubborn when we were kids.
why don't you just tap already? And I'm the one who, I always getting pissed. I said, why don't you just tap? He's the one that's got me in the painful leg lock, right? And I didn't tap. I wasn't going to tap. I had too much pride.
Just to
I
that.
walked with a limp for like a year. I was like, this is never going to heal. Like, when are you going to tap? When are you going to tap?
Just did that with a calf lock in Florida, and she was gimped for a week because I had it right at the bottom of the calf. I was the calf slicer.
Right.
She wouldn't tap to it because it wasn't wrecking her joint. But then she was gimped for a week. We've gotten better. If you come down and train here, it won't be like that anymore. We're older and wiser now.
We don't harm our students. That's bad for
we don't
business.
harm our students. But sometimes when Jeremy and I get together, it's too much of an ego. We can't pass up a chance. But anymore now.
Not so much anymore. I'm old.
No, we're getting older now, and those kind of being wrecked for a month.
Well, we get those young guys like Dave and Elton coming up, and you can't have no ego with those guys because they're
fun. Like
beasts.
Dave, for his testing tonight, I think it's broken. His fingers. Yeah. I'm like,
You're like, you got to go to a doctor and get that set.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like
Webb's an RN. Webb's a nurse. Dave calls me and says, Sensei, I think something's wrong with my finger, and his finger's like all jacked. And I'm like, Hanshi. Webb looks at it and says, you're going to need to go to a doctor and get that set. And Dave's like, I'm finishing the test.
Yeah.
I had another one that was going for a secondary black belt. He was thrown up, very dehydrated, very, very sick, continuing through to.
A lot of spirit on the test today.
Very, very dedicated.
Dave didn't tell, like, when we were off to the side, he told me, he's like, because I asked him if he was going to go see a doctor. He's like, nah, I'm just going to see us. Dave is already right there. I'm just going to bend it that way and push us. Like,
Dave separated his shoulder at a tournament in a gold medal match. Wouldn't give up. Separated his shoulder. And he was like in a sling afterwards. Okay, so they're coming in because they're hungry. Okay. We got to go.
Yeah.
We got to wrap it up.
We got to eat food. Thank you guys for coming
thanks for
here
having
and
us.
talking to us. And
Absolutely.
I'm going to post this on the internet for everybody to see.
We will do one, and I'll talk tons about other stuff.
Yes, well, you talk a lot. It's good.
Yeah, all you got to do is hit go and let me talk.
Like,
It'll be fine.
Put the camera in front of
It'll
this
be
guy.
fine. That's right. I am the production meeting.
Yeah. So, guys, this has been another episode of Dragon Yawn. Again, brought to you from Tactical Kung Fu Mixed Martial Arts, where you can try out a whole bunch of stuff. We got a whole lot of martial arts stuff that's taught by this guy, all right? And this is his teacher, right? So he's out here a lot. You know, we try to get you as much as we can, right?
You're trying to get here about once a year.
Yeah.
It's been a fun.
Where are you coming from?
West Virginia, Parkersburg.
That's not bad.
6-hour drive.
Yeah, that's really not bad at all. All right, guys, I can't thank you enough. I'm glad you came here.
Thank you for having us.
And be sure to check us out on our website at tkf.com or tkfmma.com. And we got a Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, man. Definitely subscribe. Because I got more of these, man. Last episode, I had another 8th degree black belt. This time I got him. I'm like, so I'm racking up 8th degree black belts all the time. Who are
Collecting them.
Awesome enough to like come here and talk to you guys and let you know about the awesomeness that is these guys and Kempo and martial arts and stuff like that. So again, guys, thank you so much.
Thank you, Mike.
Let's go eat. I think we're all about to eat. We're all
we got
hungry.
people beating at the door that want food, so we should probably feed them.
All right, guys.
Thank you, sir.
Good night, guys.